Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. We'll start with our Mangalacharan and our Sumina. Varnanam Ardhasanhanam Rasanam Chandasamapi Mangalanam Chakartara Vande Vani Vinayaka Bhavani Shankarau Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupina Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Svantastamishwaram Vande Bodhamayam Nityam Gurum Shankararupinam Yamashrito hi Vakromi Chandra Sarvatra Vandyate Sitarama Gunakrama Punyaranya Viharina Vande Vishuddha Vijnana Kavishwara Kapishwara Udbhava Sthiti Samhara Karini Kleshaharini Sarva Shreyaskarim Sitam Natoham Rama Vallabham Yanmaya Vashavarti Vishwamakhilam Brahmadi Devasuraha Yatsattvadamrishayvabhati Sakalam Rajayata He Brahmaha Yatpadaplavamekamiva hi bhavam Bodhe Sthitirshavatam Vandeham Tamasheshakaranakaram Ramakrimisham Harim Nana Purana Nigamagama Sammatam Yata Ramayane Nigadidam Kvachidanyatopi Swanta Sukhaya Tulasi Raghunatha Gatha Hasha Nibandhamati Manjulamatanoti Hasha Nibandhamati Manjulamatanoti Hari Om Jo Sumirata Siddhi Hoye Gananayaka Kari Bharavadana Karau Anugraha Soye Buddhirasi Subhaguna Sadana Mukha Hoy Vachala Pangucharai Girivara Gahana Chasu Kripa Sudayala Dravau Sakala Kalimala Dahana Nila Saroruhasyama Taruna Aruna Bharijanayana Karau Sumamauradhava Sada Chira Sagara Sayana Kunda Indu Samadeha Umaramana Karunayana Jahidina Paraneha Karau Kripa Mardanamayana Banda Guru Padakanja Kripa Sindhu Nararupa Hari Mahamohatamatpunja Jasuvajana Ravikara Nikara Jasuvajana Ravikara Nikara Jasuvajana Ravikara Nikara. Okay. All right. We are seeing the wonderful section in Kishkinda Kand of Ramcharitmanas where Bhagavan Ram has just killed Bali. No, sorry, let me rephrase that. Bhagavan Ram has just shot Bali and he's not yet dead. A conversation is going on between the two of them. Last week we saw, and I think everybody knows this story very well. It comes over and over again about how Sugriva and Bhagavan Ram had made an alliance. They had become friends. And as a result, one of the things that was promised was that Bhagavan Ram would help Sugriva to kill Bali. Not just kill Bali, but kill him with one arrow. And so we saw last week how even though Bhagavan said he would kill him, Sugriva still had to go challenge Bali, and Bali had to come, and he fought with him. And the first time he fought, Sugriva lost. I mean, Bhagavan Ram didn't kill him. So Sugriva came and he said, Bhagavan, what is this? You bailed on me. Why? And Bhagavan said, no, I couldn't recognize which one was you, which one was Bali. I didn't know you were twins, right? And so he sends, after inspiring Sugriva, after removing all his wounds and everything with his touch, he sends Sugriva back with a flower mala on his neck. And so Sugriva goes, he challenges Bali again, and Bali comes out, and Bhagavan shoots him, standing behind a tree. A lot of questions come, how he could shoot him from behind a tree. He himself asked Bhagavan, how could you shoot me from behind the tree like a hunter? And Bhagavan answered him. He said that, well, if you want to demand, I'm paraphrasing, he says, if you want to demand the right to choose how you will die and not be treated like an animal, then you have to follow the rules of Dharma. And one of the rules of Dharma is that your brother's wife is like your daughter. It is capital crime to see her in any other way. Right? So, and he listed so many things that Sugriva had done about his abhiman, about how, well, we talked about how he had no reason also to send so many wicked people behind Sugriva to scare him and all of that, right? But he did. Now, in this dialogue, Bhagavan having answered Bali, Bali has something to say to Bhagavan. But before that, I don't know if you all remember or if you were missing last week, Bhagavan Rama, no, Bali, before he left to come and fight with Sugriva, because Sugriva had challenged him, before Bali left, Tara had stopped him. Tara is his wife. And she said the fact that this Sugriva, who has been running from you all his life, suddenly he's going to be brave enough to come and call you out and fight with you? Like, hold on. Don't just jump to conclusions. Don't just go and fight. Think. And she said to him that the ones who Sugriva has made alliance with, they're none other than Bhagavan Ram and Lakshmana. And really, Lakshmana is enough to finish Bali. Right? Later, Lakshmana is powerful enough to finish Bali on his own. And Bali says, well, Tara gives wise advice. She says, you think first, right? And Bali writes her off as being chicken-hearted, a chicken-hearted wife. That's all he writes it off to. And Bhagavan said to him, he said, well, when she was giving you sound advice, she was giving you counsel. What did you say? You didn't take her seriously. That's another wrong thing that you did. Just please make note. Right? So many things were highlighted, but this is another important thing to remember, that even Bhagavan considered the counsel of Tara to be wise. Tara was a very wise woman, and we'll see more about her today. So now Bhagavan has answered Bali. He has told him why he shot him. And if you want more details on that, well, you have to just watch back last week, because this is the summary. But he definitely calls him a fool. He definitely tells him, you have so much arrogance. He definitely says that your wife warned you and you didn't listen, right? And you undermined my power, because if I'm behind Sugriva and you think you can defeat him, then you're undermining me. Like, so now Bali has to answer Sugriva. Right? Bhagavan Ram has put, Bali has to answer Bhagavan Ram. I don't know what's going on with my words. Bali has to answer Bhagavan Ram. So that's what he's going to do now in the Doha. I believe where we stopped was right at Doha number 9. We didn't do 9, but we finished right until Doha number 9 was going to start. Correct? You all have the same note? Okay, cool. So now we'll chant the Doha and we will see what Sugriva's response is to Bhagavan. I have to keep remembering to change the sound settings. Sunahu Rama Swami Sana Chalana Chaturi Muri Prabhu Ajahu Mai Papi Ant Kala Gati Tori Siyavar Ramachandra Ki Jai Pavan Sut Hanuman Ki Jai Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai Bolo Bhai Sab Santan Ki Jai. He says, Sunahu Rama. Now Bali is responding to Bhagavan Ram. Sunahu Ram, listen, O Rama. Swami Sana, with my Swami, with my master. Chalana Chaturi Mori. I cannot be deceitful. I cannot be clever. I cannot try to outsmart you. Meaning, I can't argue with you anymore. This is Bali's way of saying, Bhagavan, I acknowledge what you said. I don't have anything in response. Whatever Bhagavan Ram said would have intellectually satisfied Bali and the question that he had asked. It also means that he knew he was being clever. In today's world, I guess I don't know. We grew up hearing that phrase, sly like a fox, right? He knew he was being sly, clever in that way, right? Clever like sly. He knew he was being clever. He knew he was being sly. He said, no, I can't be like that anymore with my master. This also means he has acknowledged Bhagavan Ram as his master. How is it that you're going to get hit by the arrow of Bhagavan and see Bhagavan in front of you and not be transformed? Who was the Bali before? The Bali that spoke to Tara said, well, if he's an ordinary person, well, then I'll kill Sugriva. And if he's Bhagavan, one, he's Samadarshi, so I have nothing to worry about. But even if he does try to kill me, I'll get moksha. So his response to the fact that Rama is Bhagavan was, well, let me take my chances. But now, what if you hear that that's the Lord of the universe? What will your response be? Not, well, let me fight, and if he kills me, I'll get moksha. It's let me go and surrender at his feet. But it took being hit by an arrow of Bhagavan for him to actually get there, right? So now he's calling him Swami. Now, finally, he's calling him his master. It was inside. It just took time and a serious blow to come out. Right? So now he says, he has a question for Bhagavan Ram. He's finished all his questions. This question is different. He doesn't doubt Bhagavan about anything, but he has a question that a lot of us also may ask one day. He says, Prabhu, ajahu me papi antakala, ajahu me papi antakala gati tori. He says, am I still a papi? I mean, people translate papi as sinner, but let's just use the word papi, right? Am I still a papi at the time of death, now that I have taken refuge at your feet? Means in this concept of Papa in Sanatana Dharma is so beautiful, right? When the sun is not there, you can say it is dark. But when the sun has come out, you can't say it is dark. You have to say it was dark, because now the sun is there. So now, having seen Bhagavan, is it not that Papa goes? The seeing of Bhagavan itself is a indication that there is nothing to forgive. There is no Papa, right? So he's saying, am I a papi or was I a papi? Right? Now, in that statement, there's an acknowledgement that at least at one time he was a papi. He's not saying I wasn't a papi. So he acknowledges his mistake. But at the same time, he's asking, is there hope for me? Like, I mean, I've seen you. I don't feel like a papi anymore. That is the power of Bhagavan's presence. And he doesn't ask this with any kind of arrogance. He asks it with full humility. And you can tell because now Bhagavan Ram is going to respond to him. So let us chant this next section of Bhagavan Rama's answer to him. Now that he is dying, is he still a papi? Means we would have committed so many mistakes in our life. Are we papis after we become true bhaktas, or doomed forever? Like what is it? Sasina, let's chant after number 9. Sunata Rama ati komalabani Bali sisa parasya seyu nijapani Achala karao tanurakha prana Bali kaha sunu kripani dhana Janma janma muni jatanu karahi Antarama kahi avatanahi Jasunama bala sankatar rakasi Deta sabahi samagati abhinasi Mamalochana gochara soi ava Bahuri ki prabhu asapani hi bana. Chanda, different tune. Sonayana gochara jasu guna nidaniti kahi shruti kavahi jiti pavana manago nirasaka kari muni dhyana kapamu kapavahi mohi jani ati abhima nabasa prabhu kahe urakusari rahi asakavana satvamati kati surataru bari bari karahi babu baburahi abanata kari karuna vilokahu dehu jo paramagahu jehi jo nijanmo karma basata rama pada anuragahu Komal Bani. Bhagavan Ram, hearing these most soft words of Bali, means Bali would have been speaking sincerely, because earlier, just a few lines prior, if you'll see, Bali had, in Tulsidasji wrote, or Shivji, whoever is telling it, said that there was love in his heart, but his words were harsh. Right? So his words were not matching his bhava. Here, it's showing how now, finally, his words also are matching the bhava in his heart. So somehow, in the presence of Bhagavan Ram, he has gotten that integration of personality that we all strive for. So Bhagavan Ram's response is, Bali sisa paraseyu nijapani. He he rubbed Bali's head with his hand. Meaning, it's almost like he was acknowledging the words of Bali. He was acknowledging Bali's surrender. He was acknowledging that, I understand, Bali. We're on the same page. I get you. That loving rubbing of his head said so much without him saying anything. Now he speaks and he says, Achala karau tanurakau prana. He said, Bali. Bhagavan Ram becomes soft now. See what he says. He says, I can make you achala. I can give you a long life. You can keep your body. No problem. I can make your body live long, and you can keep your life. Meaning, I'll remove the arrow and everything will go back to normal. You don't need to die. He had promised Sugriva, I'm going to kill Bali with one arrow. But here, he's changing his tune. See, Bali had said Bhagavan is Samadarshi. And he's really showing how he's Samadarshi. Right? He has equal compassion for everybody. All of his devotees also equally treated. Now Bali is a bhakta, so his conversation with Bali is different. Bali was complaining that Bhagavan unfairly took his life. And after Bhagavan justified and explained why, Bhagavan said, well, take it back, no problem. You want your life, keep it. Right? Because Bali had surrendered totally. Now Bhagavan was at the behest of his bhakta. He says, no, how he's at the behest of his bhaktas. You see it here. Bali goes from being short to being a totally surrendered bhakta, to Bhagavan surrendering everything to him. So now his response. See Bali's response. Janma janma muni jatanu karahi. Birth after birth, lifetime after lifetime, munis put in so much effort. For what? Means they do so much sadhana and all of that, right? Anta Rama kahi avata nahi. And sometimes at the end, Rama doesn't come. So after all of that effort, Bhagavan Ram doesn't even come. Jasu nama bala sankarakasi deta sabahi samagati abhinasi. He whose name, on whose strength, that the name that has the power, he whose name on whose strength, Bhagavan Shiva in Kashi gives everyone that imperishable state. We saw that earlier, right? Bhagavan Shiva whispers the name of Bhagavan Ram in the ear of someone who is dying in Kashi, and then they become mukta. So he's saying, on the person whose name, because of which that person in Kashi gets liberation with Bhagavan Shiva telling his name, Mama lochana gochara soi ava. That Rama, that one, has come, manifest, visible to my senses, in front of me. In front of my own eyes, he's come and he's standing in front of me. Which Rama? The Rama which Munis put so much effort to see, and still they can't. That Rama, the name of whose strength gives mukti to people when Lord Shiva tells his name. He has become manifest in front of me. Bahuri ki Prabhu asa banihi banaba. He says, O Prabhu, when again will I get such a golden opportunity? When will such a golden opportunity come for me to die seeing the Lord in front of me in this form? Means I'm not going to keep this body. He's basically telling Bhagavan, thanks, but no thanks, right? I'm not going to stay here. No thank you, right? Now, Bhagavan had promised Sugriva he would kill Bali with one arrow. Then he had promised Bali he'll give him back his life because Bali became a true bhakta. But see, a true bhakta, even though Bhagavan gives him his whole life, a true bhakta never puts Bhagavan in sankat. He didn't give Bhagavan the opportunity to be in trouble and be like Sugriva for Sugriva to say anything, right? Because naturally, a bhakta's heart doesn't see transactions with Bhagavan, right? So now, he continues, he's not finished. And in this section, you really see Sugriva's, Bali's transformation. Now remember in the Chanda, the theme continues. The same thing is echoed that was just told. It's echoed in the Chanda and then more said, right? So see the first line. So nayana gochara jasu guna nita neti kahi shruti gavahi. He whose virtues are sung in the Shruti as neti, neti, neti. Means the Vedas say he is not this, he's not this, he's not this. He's indescribable, he's unmanifest, he's beyond words, he's beyond vision, he's beyond everything. So Nayana Gochara, he has come and manifested in front of me, in front of my own eyes. Right? Jiti Pavana Mana Go Nirasa Kari Muni Dhyana Kabahuka Pavahi. He says that Bhagavan, Munis now in meditation, having controlled their pranas, having controlled their mind, having controlled their senses, withdrawing all of these things, right? They also are barely able to obtain that reality which is talked about in the Vedas, right? They are barely able to see Bhagavan after all of that work. Mohi jani ati abhimana basa prabhu kaheu rakhu sarirahi. Saying, now to me, knowing me to be so taken over by abhiman, Prabhu is saying, I will protect your body. You keep your body if you want. He's telling Bhagavan, this is what you're offering me, right? That you know that I'm full of such a big ego, full of myself and everything. And in spite of that, you're telling me, keep my body. So one is, he knows Bhagavan has forgiven him, right? Then, based on his response here, you can tell that he's actually not Abhimani anymore. That has all gone also. So the sentiment is, why should I keep this body? Right? Actually, behind the lines is, you know that I'm Abhimani. And once a person is Abhimani, oh God, in Vivekachudamani there's a section that describes how somebody who has Abhiman and has removed it, even if a drop of that Abhiman remains, a drop, one tiny drop, that is enough for you to get the full-blown version again, right? So he's saying, you know that Abhiman is my problem, and you're telling me to keep this body means go through all the suffering of the problems of Abhiman again? Like still? So you could take it both ways, right? One is he's acknowledging that Bhagavan has forgiven him, and he'll be so silly to keep his life, but the other side is, you really want me to perpetuate my Abhiman like that? He says, Asa kavana satha hati kati surataru bari karihi baburahi. He says, which fool is there who will insist on cutting down the kalpataru, surataru, the wish-fulfilling tree? You know the wish-fulfilling tree in our Shastra, they say, when you're standing by that tree, whatever you wish for, you get, right? Which fool is going to go and cut down the wish-fulfilling tree and then take the wood of that tree and make a fence out of that wood to now go and protect some ordinary tree? It doesn't make any sense to cut down something special and use it to protect something ordinary. Meaning, you, Bhagavan, are the Kalpa Vriksha. So I should use your grace to protect this ordinary body? That's what I should use it for? Your grace should be used to protect my body? He says, Abanatha kari karuna bilo kahu dehu jo baramago. He says, O Lord, you please have compassion. And look upon me with compassion. And now you give me the boon which I'm asking for. Well, Bhagavan didn't say, what boon do you want? Bhagavan didn't say those words. Nowhere has boon come. But he's like, no, give me the boon that I want. Means it's like he's trading in. Bhagavan, you offered me my life. Well, you keep that. But instead I want something else. Let's barter the fact that you're ready to give me something. I don't want that. I want something else. What does he want? He says, Jehi joni janmo karma basa taha rama pada anurago. This line is so beautiful. He says, whichever womb I take birth in, because of my own karma, right? Wherever I end up, in whichever Jiva's body, because of my karma, I should always have devotion for the feet of Bhagavan Ram. So he's saying, don't change my karma. Don't do anything special to remove my pain, to remove my suffering, nothing. But wherever I am, in whatever condition I am, I always want to have devotion for Bhagavan's feet. This is the Bhakta's ideal wish. Bharatji, who is the Bhakta, right? He has this exact same line, almost word for word, in different words, right? He says, Dharaman na aratana kamaruchi, gati na chahau nirvana. He says, I don't want any of the four purusharthas. Janama janama rati rama pada. I want to have love for Bhagavan's feet in every life. Yaha varadana. Na'an. I don't want any other boon except for this boon, right? So, now you see, Bali is Indra, remember? Now, who does Indra become in the next yuga? With Bhagavan Ram, Indra is Bali. With Bhagavan Krishna, Indra is Arjuna. And does he not have immeasurable devotion for Bhagavan? So, he got what he wanted. Like, it's evident that he got what he wanted, right? So this is what he says. Now he says, Bhagavan, Yaha Tanaya Mama, this son of mine, his son Angad was over there. Sama Binaya Bala, he's equal to me in humility and strength. When someone says, my humble prostrations or my humble whatever, you can't be humble if you're saying that I have humility. We say it, we feel humble and all, but really speaking, a humble person doesn't say I'm humble. But Bali here is saying, this son of mine, he's equal to me in humility and he's equal to me in strength. So strength, fine, we get it, right? But humility? Well, see, two ways you can look at it, right? One is, remember Bali's problem was arrogance, right? Arrogance was his big weakness. His arrogance was so strong that even in Bhagavan's presence, it doesn't completely go away. Meaning our vasanas are so strong. But Bhagavan overlooks them in spite of our vasanas. How many of our vasanas Bhagavan has to overlook? If he doesn't overlook vasanas, we are in trouble, right? That is why he is called compassionate. Kripa Nidhan, so many times Kripa has come here, right? The alternate meaning could be, Bhagavan, you had to come and take an arrow and shoot my arrogance out of me and bring a little humility in me. But this Angad, he already has the humility that you needed to instill in me with your arrow, right? He's equal, all this humility that I'm finally getting, he already has it. So whichever way you want to take it, you can. But the point is, Angad has a lot of humility and Angad has a lot of strength. And he says, Kalyana Prada, O bestower of auspiciousness, O Rama, Prabhu lijiye, you please accept him. This is actually a political move. I mean, it could be seen as a political move, because if Sugriva wanted to do anything to Angad, now he can't, because Angad has been offered to Bhagavan Ram, right? But anyways, I don't know if that was really Sugriva's intention, but he says, Gahi baha sura nara naha apana dasa angada kiji. He says, you please, O Lord of Devas, O Lord of men, O Lord, you please hold his hand. Means hold his arm, hold his hand, take hold of him, and make him your sevak. You know, one of the descriptions for the definition of a son, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya gives in Gita, and it comes over and over in the tradition also, that the son is actually an extension of the father. So it means the child is an extension of the parent. Meaning whatever I am, whatever a parent is, their child becomes that too. Like the parent continues their life into the life of the child. Example is the best way to see this. Whatever a parent can't do, they feel like they can fulfill it through their children, because they see their children as an extension of themselves. Have you not heard? I couldn't become a doctor, but at least you can. I couldn't fulfill my dreams, but at least you can. Not you can fulfill your dreams, you can fulfill my dreams. Right? So parents see their children as an extension of them as though, right? So it's almost like Bali is saying, I didn't get to serve you, even though that was my purpose, right? I didn't get to serve you, but here my son is, and he will do what I couldn't do. He will serve you, right? You let him serve you, like that. And so now, in the Doha, he says, Rama charana dridha preeti kari bali kinha tanutyaga. Having fixed his love on Bhagavan's feet firmly, he dropped this body. He was offered his life back, and he said thanks, but no thanks. What did he trade his life for? He traded his life for bhakti. That is what he wanted. And now, in the last sentence here, Sumana mala jimikandhate giratana jane naga. How did he drop this body? You know, dropping the body is a very painful experience. It is said. I haven't dropped the body yet. I'm not speaking from personal experience. Right? It is said to be a very painful experience because the jiva is so attached to the body. It's not easy for the jiva to leave the body when Yamaraj comes. But it's described that Bali dropped this body like a garland of flowers falling from the neck of an elephant. So effort, like the elephant is not even aware that there was a flower garland, right? Let alone, oh, it fell, right? So effortlessly Bali drops this body. And like this now, Bali goes. Before we see what happens next, let's think a little bit about what we can learn from Bali's story. Because there's so much to learn from it. Actually, there's so much to learn from all of Ramayana, but because this is one of the popular stories with a lot of, well, there's a lot we can learn about our own life because of Bali. We'll stop, we'll pause, and we'll think about it. Who was Bali? Bali was Indra Avatar. Why did he come as Bali? Why did he manifest as Bali? To help Bhagavan Rama kill Ravana. That was the whole plan, right? When the Devatas went to Bhagavan Vishnu and said, you please come and help us defeat this Ravana, he's torturing us. Bhagavan said, okay. And Brahmaji told all the Devatas, you also go now as Vanaras and get ready to help him. So he had come with what purpose? To help Bhagavan to fight Ravana. Now Bali was very strong. He didn't just have ordinary strength, he had extra strength. In Kambha Ramayana, which is a Ramayana that's popular in South India, There's a story about how Indra, who is like his father, I guess, right? This is Amsha, gives him a special necklace. He gives a special necklace to Bali. And what does that necklace do? Well, that necklace does two things. First of all, it guarantees that Bali will never get tired in battle. And second, anybody who comes in front of Bali will get this half of the strength of the person who's in front of them. These two things were what the necklace gave. So it was very easy for him to defeat Ravana, right? Now, would it not have been such a great help to have him on Bhagavan's side to defeat Ravana? Well, the whole trillions of monkeys wouldn't have been needed. One was enough. One Bali. Let's go, Bali. Right? But what did he do? He went and he made alliance with that Ravana who he had come to help Bhagavan get rid of. So his biggest mistake. He came and he did the exact opposite of his duty. That is like the foreign minister of our country. We're all from different countries, right? Foreign minister of your country going to negotiate with your neighboring country that's having issues with you. And they go and become friends with them instead. You miss the whole point about your role here, right? So now, and he says, well, what wrong thing did I do? Bhagavan, I didn't do anything wrong. Right? No, you forgot your purpose. You forgot your purpose. And when you're not living to do your purpose, you're doing papa. Purpose or papa. Those are the only two options, right? So, and he had forgotten his true purpose because of pramada, inadvertence. Pramada ve mrityu, it said. If you're inadvertent, it's as good as death. So now, what was the only option? You know, if there's a soldier on the battlefield who is injured and he can't fight, they send him home. But what about someone who, a soldier on the battlefield who makes alliance with the enemy? What will they do to him? Well, not that you just can't fight, but you're totally in the wrong place. You're banished. Not that you can't fight, you're banished, right? So that was Bali's condition. That's what happened to Bali, and that's why Bhagavan had to be like, well, why are you even here? Right? That. Then, so that's Bali. Now talk about us. What is our purpose in life? Moksha. I mean, we're in satsang. We can say this is our purpose very clearly, right? Our purpose is moksha, mukti, whatever words you want to give to it. Permanent happiness, infinite peace, etc. What is our enemy? Sense pleasures. Sense pleasures is our super enemy. It is our Ravana. Which one do we make alliance with? We come and we make alliance with the enemy instead of fulfilling our purpose. Sense pleasures, you are my best friend. Come. We have a pact. You show up and I'm there. And then we wonder why is there so much sorrow in our life? Because we've fraternized with the enemy, right? So this is exactly our story. Bali forgot his purpose. He went and he made alliance with Ravana. We forget our purpose and we make alliance with all the things in the world, forgetting the true source of happiness. Then, why Bhagavan killed him from behind, right? One is, I think, did I do this last week? One is, if he I think I mentioned this in the beginning of class. If he was asking as an animal, well, an animal is just living by the laws of nature, right? So, hunters capture wild animals like that all the time. There's nothing wrong in that, right? You don't stand in front of a lion to shoot the lion. You stand up or side or something. You hide and shoot, right? Now, if Bali is not an animal, then he has to follow Dharma. But he didn't follow Dharma. What did he do? He stole his younger brother's wife. He tortured his brother, having banished him for no reason, just for fun. He tortured him. He went and made friends with Ravana, who is Papi. He didn't listen to his wife's advice, right? Because of arrogance, he didn't listen. He insulted Bhagavan's strength by thinking that Sugriva was as weak without him as he was with him. And, no, that's it, right? I mean, you can think of more reasons, but these are so many different reasons why Bhagavan did that, right? Then you'll also hear people say things like Bhagavan had no choice but to kill him from behind, because if he stood in front of him, half of his strength would go to Bali. From that Puranic story point of view. What is half of infinity? Bhagavan has infinite strength. What is half of infinite strength? No, that's infinite strength. Okay, fine. Is it impossible for Bhagavan to stand in front of Bali and kill him, even though Bali has that boon? Say whatever you want and say this and say that and this half strength and this. Could Bhagavan not have stood in front of him and killed him if he wanted? So, why didn't he? You see, actually what was happening is Bhagavan was honoring the boon given by Indra. Indra Devata had given the boon. If Bhagavan went and stood in front of Bali and killed him, then Indra Devata's boon would have been fruitless. So, and Bhagavan doesn't do that. He follows the word of Devatas and all the boons, he honors them, right? Bali also should have known the moment he got that boon. Everyone tries to get boons to like avert death and all of that, but you're not invincible, right? You can't be granted immortality. He should have known that if I can't be shot from the front, but I have to be shot, then I'll be shot from the back. Like, what is the other option? but we don't think also, right? Okay. From a Vedantic standpoint, the tree is considered samsara vriksha, the tree of samsara. Bhagavan is standing behind the tree, and it is like he is sending our karma phala. The arrows are like our karma phala. We see the results, we see the arrow, but we don't see where they come from, and we don't see what comes. Because our karma phala is adrishya, it's unseen. That is symbolized by Bhagavan hiding behind the tree. In Vinaya Patrika, which is, I don't know if you all know, Vinaya Patrika is another one of Tulsidasji's compositions. It's a really cool composition because in that composition, he gives the symbolism of so many things in Ramayana. Like every time you'll hear anyone telling Ramayana and giving symbolism, it's straight from Tulsidasji's Vinaya Patrika most of the time, right? Means we use his Vinaya Patrika as the authority for the symbolism. Anyways, there he explains that Sugriva is Jiva, us. Bali is his karma. Now what happens? Is it not true that wherever we go, no matter what we're doing, our karma chases us and our karma finds us? It didn't matter where Sugriva went. His karma / Bali found him and found a way to chase him. It's only in Rishyamukh Parvat that he got peace. And I told this also, it's only in Satsanga that we get some peace. But the karma is still there when Satsanga is done. It's only when there's total surrender that our karmas are destroyed completely. One arrow. That was the condition, right? Complete destruction. Okay, last thing I'll tell about Bali. Gurudev says that Bali represents lust and desire. Is it not true that when desire comes in front of us, it takes half our strength? And our strength to say no becomes half? That thing becomes 2 times as strong and we become twice as weak, like that, right? That's exactly how Bali is desire. Even our desire for moksha in the final analysis becomes a barrier. That desire also has to be dropped by just watching it. But anyways, that's different thing. But Bali is kama. And that kama, the final desire, even of moksha, is removed by watching it from behind as a witness. This is, if you're into Vedanta philosophy at the highest level, this symbolism is exact in line with that. That is why he had to hide behind the tree. Because finally the witness of even that desire is like that. Okay. So then you'll be like, well, is he desire or is he karma? Is he kama or is he karma? Which one is he? It is desire only that becomes karma. There are different stages of the same thing. So whether you see him as desire or you see him as karma, it doesn't matter. At the end of this story, we are supposed to learn from it, right? So whichever one jives with you, however you can think about it from as many points of view that you can think about it. The more we think about Bali, the more we realize how similar to him we are, the more we should be inspired to not be like him. Or to be like the surrendered version of him. Bhagavan's words to him should be like a blow to us too at the same time. We shouldn't need a physical arrow, right? Going through the motions through Ramayana should also be enough. Anyways, now why Sugriva had to fight 2 times? This also you would have heard. We have to face our own karma. There's no choice, right? Bhagavan couldn't kill Bali himself without Sugriva actually going and facing his own karma. And the principle is, if we run away from our karma, well, it becomes twice as strong and we become twice as weak. And Bhagavan's strength is there with us the whole time. Remember, Bhagavan said, you go and I will kill him. On whose strength he went? On Bhagavan's strength. But it was only when he surrendered that Bhagavan shot Bali. It is only when we surrender that we feel the power of Bhagavan's strength fighting for us. That surrender is the key that changes the whole dynamic. Okay, now Bali went. Where did he go? Bhagavan is going to tell right now where he goes. Right, so let's chant. This is after number 10. Rama Bali Nijadhama Pathava. Bhagavan Ram sent Bali to his loka. His loka means which? Bhagavan's loka or Indra's loka? Bali is Indra, so which one did he send to? It's not told specifically here, just that he sent him to his loka. So whichever one, you can decide where he went. But he went to some abode, right? He went to maybe most probably Bhagavan's abode. Hmm? Then Nagara Loga Saba Byakula Dhava. Now, all the people of the city became totally distressed and started to run helter-skelter. You know, this is a common thing we see, that when a leader is overthrown, there's so much unrest in the city. Part of it is we become so dependent on our leaders and their leadership, irrespective of whether they're good or bad. That natural dependence is there because we somehow don't like to live independent lives. We don't want to think for ourselves. We don't want to decide things for ourselves. And so we're very dependent on the leadership of our leaders. But see, now Bali hadn't made any succession plan. Somehow a lot of leaders think they're invincible, so they just don't make a plan for what's going to happen next. But you have to see our Puja Guruji. He's the ideal example of a leader like this. I think a couple of days ago would have marked 9 years since he handed over the leadership of Chinmay Mission to Swami Swarupanandaji. Right? Why wait till nobody knows what to do? Do it now. Like that. His thinking was so clear. Right? Anyways, everybody was worried what will happen to them now, what will Rama do to them. Because see, what would Bali have done if he overthrew a king of a place? What would have happened to the citizens of that place? Well, they'd have been in trouble, right? So the leader sets the standard. They would have known how Bali was, so they would have assumed the same thing was going to happen now. They don't know Bhagavan Ram's compassion yet, right? So they were all running helter-skelter, worried. And now in all of that big hullabaloo going on, Nana Bidhi Bilapa Kara Tara. Tara came over there. And she was lamenting, crying in so many ways. You know when you're sad, you don't cry in one way, like you cry in multiple ways? You know what I'm talking about? Like they'll be sobbing, then they'll be screaming, then there'll be all kinds of various types of crying. She was crying, right? And Chute Kesa Nadeha Samhara. And her hair was all disheveled all over the place, and she couldn't control her body. Her body was shaking. Who is this Tara? That same wise Tara who warned Bali that this is the Lord of the universe who is standing behind Sugriva. Don't just go there rashly like this. But it's a natural emotion. Right? Natural. What can you do? Natural emotion that this will happen. Right? If you want to visualize what it looked like, well, you don't have to go far. You can go to Bollywood serials and you can picture the whole thing. The only difference might be that their makeup is perfect and hers isn't. Or, some little difference will be there between that and reality. But the point is, she was totally miserable. Totally distressed and not okay. Tara Bikala Dekhi Raghuraya. Bhagavan Ram now saw how miserable, how pitiable this Tara was. And when somebody is pitiable and miserable and has just lost such a close loved one, right? She's just lost her husband. What is the response? How do you console them? We console with compassion, we console with hugs, we console with words that you find something to say. What did Bhagavan do? Dinha Jnana. He gave her knowledge. He started to teach her. And Hari Leenhi Maya. And that knowledge is what took away all of her Maya, all of her delusion. We'll see this whole section, in these few lines, and then we'll see it. Chitti, what does he tell her? Now he took away her Maya. Bhagavan, take away my Maya too. What did you tell her? Is it a secret? No, it's not a secret. He tells right here what he told. Chitti, Jala, Pavaka, Gagana Samira. Chitti, earth, water, fire, space, and air. Pancha Rachita, Ati Adhama Sarira. This body is made of these 5 elements. And it is Ati Adhama. Ati Adhama means most despicable. everything in this world is made of the 5 elements, right? That's not a surprise. But this body is most despicable, Bhagavan, that's kind of a strong statement. It comes over and over again. It comes in Bhaja Govindam, it comes in Vivekachudamani, it comes in so many shastras, how this body is despicable. And in Vivekachudamani, it's given in quite colorful description. I mean, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya says, you take flesh and pus and bone and blood and bile and dirt and all of these things. And somehow when you put these despicable things together, you get a body that's loved. Swamiji, the first time I heard this, Swamiji had given an example. He was like, you take a clothes line and you put each of these parts, you put blood in one Ziploc bag, and you put bones in one Ziploc bag, and you put, skin in one Ziploc bag, and you put nails in one Ziploc bag, put all these things in different Ziploc bags, and you hang it in your, or like you give it to somebody, and like, you want? Yuck, no! But somehow when it all comes together, it's like magic. It becomes so lovable. But actually this body is made up of nothing but that which is despicable. And in those other shastras, in Vivekachudamani, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya speaks for verses and verses and verses. Over here Bhagavan says one word, Ati Adama Sarira. This body is most despicable. Less than half a chopai, right? You might think, if you've not heard this before, you might think, well, that's a strong statement, right? You're despicable. But you only see, when you cut your... Okay, let's take this example first. When you're eating and you've cooked the food, and while you're eating, you find a piece of hair in the food. That's gross, right? You love your hair when it's up here. But as soon as it leaves you and it stops being what you call you, that thing becomes despicable. Then your nails. Some people, they're like, people have all kinds of obsession with their nails also. They grow it and then they paint it and then they, whatever. Now you cut your nails, right? What happens? Well, throw it away. If that nail, if you're grating cheese and by mistake you grate your nail, has that ever happened to you? It's like, oh God, I don't even want to imagine who's going to eat that nail, So but really, that's the reality of this body, right? Now, is it not true that the moment that the jiva leaves the body, we stop loving the body? In Bhaja Govindam, the line is, Bharya bibhyati tasmin kaya. Even the wife who loved that body so much is scared of it now. I don't want it anymore, right? When the jiva leaves the body, we stop loving it. So really, what about the body did we love in the first place? The jiva. Anyways, it's like, when the jiva leaves this body, it's as though all the elements rush back to their natural state. Air wants to go back to air, fire wants to go back to fire, earth wants to go back to earth. So it's the jiva who's holding all of it together. And it's explained as because of our attachment, desire, and all of that it's being held together. All of this is given for us to do vichara on the body that we find so adorable and amazing, right? That's the purpose of this. So Bhagavan says that this body is made of the 5 elements and it's adhama, ati adhama. It's most despicable, really, the body itself, right? The body as a inert thing. Pragata sutanu tava age sova. And that body is right here, manifest in front of you. If that's what you're crying for, well, it's right here. You can have it, right? Then he says, Jiva Nitya. The Jiva who was in this body, that's not in this body anymore, that Jiva is Nitya. Nothing has happened to that Jiva. He's gone to Mayapur. He's happy. Kehi lagi tumharova. So for which one are you crying? You're crying for the Jiva? You're crying for the body? What are you crying for? And see, Bhagavan stopped calling it Bali, he started calling it Jiva. Not it. He stopped calling Bali Bali, he started calling him Jiva. The Jiva is Nitya and he's gone. Right? If you lose somebody and someone comes and says this to you, what will you say? You know, Vedanta is nice in satsang, but it doesn't work at this time. Just please leave me alone. You don't get me. You don't get anything. You keep your knowledge and just go away from me. That's the feeling that's there in everyone's heart, right? Don't come and quote Vedanta to me right now. I know I'm not the body. Whatever. Keep that for satsang. I'm going through sorrow right now. We say that this highest knowledge is not meant for the time somebody dies. You'll hear people say that all the time. But see Tara's response. Upaja jnana. Knowledge arose. Right away, knowledge arose. How much did Bhagavan speak? Let me see. He saw Tara Bikala, Dinhi Jnana. Half a chaupai he spoke. No. One whole chaupai. He speaks one whole chaupai. 2 lines he speaks, right? In one chaupai, knowledge arose. Charana tabalagi, and she fell at Bhagavan's feet, right? Now, the knowledge arose. Not that he gave her knowledge, nor knowledge arose. This is a very important thing about epistemology in Sanatana Dharma, that knowledge is already there. It's just that our mind has become clouded. Some of us, that clouding happens because of like smoke, that blocks your vision and then you just blow it away and it goes. For some of us, that clouding happens because of like dust on a mirror. And for some of us, it's like the baby in the womb. You just have to wait and wait and wait. So these are Bhagavan's examples in Bhagavad Gita, not mine, right? But knowledge arose immediately. What would it take for knowledge to arise with one chaupai? How many, if you equate one chaupai to one verse, right? That's like 1/700th of what Arjuna needed. He needed a 700 verse Bhagavad Gita to say, okay, maybe 650 or whatever, to say that, Bhagavan, my knowledge is gone. One verse. Who is this Tara? How is she able to just one chaupai is enough for her? See, who is this Tara? Tara was Brihaspati's daughter. You all know who's Brihaspati? Brihaspati is the guru of the Devatas. Now, she was very, very wise. I mean, she's Brihaspati's daughter, right? She was so wise that in some other Ramayana, Bali, when he's dying, he tells Sugriva that Tara is the best person you can use as your advisor in the kingdom. Right? She's the best advisor. There's no better advisor you can have to rule. Till today, she's not made any wrong decision. This is how wise she was, that Bali spoke so highly of her. But why didn't he take her advice when she spoke, if she was so wise? That's because we don't practice what we preach. Right? Did you guys hear about that doctor who decided to go become a pastor? No? He went to church and he told the existing pastor that, I used to be a doctor, but I've decided that I want to become a pastor. And so he asked him, why? What happened? Did some life-shattering moment happen? He said, no, it's just easier to preach than to practice. So, we don't practice what we preach. So Bali is telling something that he didn't practice. But the other side is that he were very well, because of Bhagavan's arrow and all the purity that resulted from that, now he's a different person. Like how Bhishma was able to give so much knowledge when he was hit by all those arrows, right? You transform. You transform in Bhagavan's presence. Anyways, would Bhagavan have told everybody the same thing? Can Bhagavan tell everybody the same thing? No. Depending on the person, our advice is different at different times. The wiser the person, the more fundamental the solution that can be given. And the temporary solution is, don't worry, everything will be okay. He or she's in a better place. We console with emotions, with physical presence, with, Bhagavan must have better plans for them, or, so many things we try to say. But what Bhagavan went to here was straight away highest knowledge, Atmanyan. And because of her wisdom was hidden for a blip of a moment because of those strong emotions. But all that was needed was she needed to be reminded of it, and it came right back. It happens with everybody, that we can go through these kinds of emotions, and really speaking, this knowledge does nothing at that time if we haven't studied it, thought about it, and prepared our mind earlier, right? It's only if we have really thought about it, that it can remove the sorrows of the mind when it needs to. And even someone who has this knowledge, sorrow will still come, but the difference is that they're able to bounce back much more quickly. So when we see death in Shastra, it's supposed to help us to go through emotions and think about this in our own life as well. But we don't. I mean, people fly through this section. Oh, he said this to Tara, and then we move on, right? But if it transformed her so powerfully, we should stop to think about it, no? What is Bhagavan saying that's so powerful? That's really it. If you think about this, no sorrow, right? But we don't think enough about it. Anyways, it's a very important section for us, but we take it lightly. If in your neighborhood there's a break-in in the house next door, what will you do? Well, you will think, I better put a camera, I better get an alarm system. We start to think like that, right? 1, 2, 3 break-ins, and you're like, oh my God, I should put stuff to protect my house. Yes or no? Okay. Is it guaranteed that you will have a break-in because there was a break-in in the other house? No. So there is a potential for a break-in, and we prepare very diligently for that potential because it happened near us. Okay. Somebody dies next door. Imagine. Is it guaranteed that someone is going to die in your life too? I don't mean like immediately. We're all going to lose people in our lives. It's guaranteed that we're going to face loss at some time. So something that is a certainty that happened to somebody else, what do we do to prepare for that in our life? Someone else had a break-in and I fixed my house. Someone else had a death. What do I do? Which one is certain and which one is a probability? And which one do we put priority on? You see what I mean by we don't take this seriously enough? Other people's death is supposed to force us to reflect on our death. It's supposed to force us to reflect on the temporary nature of life and so many things it's supposed to do. Even when people in Shastra die. See, that is the ideal situation because there's no strong emotion that's limiting our thinking at this time. When someone close to us dies, then we're not able to think objectively. But here, what's preventing us from thinking objectively here? So like this kind of thing comes in Shastra to help us to think. So we should take the opportunity and think. Now, if you came for some fun Ramayana, sorry, today was not a fun Ramayana class. It was some heavy Vedanta and heavy seriousness and all of that. But it's part of our life, right? Now, Upaja Jnana, her knowledge arose. Charana Tabalagi, and she fell at Bhagavan's feet. Then what did she say? Leen hesi parama bhagati baramagi. And she took from Bhagavan the boon of parama bhakti. She just got knowledge, self-knowledge she just got. And what did she want as a result? Parama bhakti. Because the principle is the fulfillment of knowledge is in devotion. How is the fulfillment of knowledge and devotion? This is easy to see in a very practical example also. Imagine that somebody takes out your garbage every day. Like, I don't know, like sometimes you'll tie your garbage, your little bag, and you'll put it outside your door, and you're like, tomorrow morning I'll go and I'll put it in the big bin. And every day before you can do that, someone has come and taken it and put it in the actual garbage bin. Every day. You don't know who it is. Or if you don't do that, someone comes and cuts your grass for you every day. Or like what's it called? The elves that came to the shoemakers, right? You don't know who it is. They're coming and they're doing what it is that they have to do. I don't remember how that story goes, but something like that, no? When you find out, now you get knowledge about who the person was. Does that knowledge not automatically lead to love and gratitude? Because you have so much gratitude without knowing who it is. When you find out, that just explodes, right? Now, when a person gets Atmanyan, they realize that reality which supports me, which supports every iota of this universe, that I never pay attention to, that I never think about, when I come to know that reality, how much love will be there? In chapter 18 also you'll see how after all the knowledge comes supreme devotion. It's a very beautiful thing to think about, that finally it ends up in love only, right? And I mean, if you don't want to talk about love for Bhagavan, we love ourselves the most. And when we come to find out that I am the self, there's only love because I love myself, right? So this is what happens. Now, Bhagavan Shiva is going to tell Uma that Bhagavan is like the puppeteer that controls our life. But I think we've talked enough for today. Let's pause it right here and we'll continue next week, right? Uma daru jo shitaki nai. Super popular line. Sabahi nachavat Rama Gosai. Bhagavan Ram makes everyone dance like a puppeteer makes puppets dance. So that you can think about this. If Bhagavan makes everyone dance like puppeteers, where does my karma fit in? Does my karma fit in? Is it which one is true then? Because the same Ramayana says, Karma pradhan bisva kari rakha, jo jasa karai so tasa phalo jaka. Karma is pradhan, most preponderating, right? As you sow, so you reap. So which is it? If you haven't thought about it, think. And then we'll think about it together when we meet next Wednesday. A nice section is coming up. Now Sugriva is going to be made king. And Bhagavan Ram is going to go into lockdown. I mean, what I like to call lockdown. Lockdown is a word that brings so many memories, isn't it? Lord Rama in lockdown. We'll see that next week. I'll do closing prayer, and then anyone who wants to ask anything or share anything, we'll have a few minutes for that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Harihi Om.